Today we're at the Alpha from Atomi. Nicely styled electric scooter, 9-inch air tires front and rear. Integrated combination lock, which is really cool. Nicely laid out handlebars with a color display. Got the tail light, and thankfully we got turn signals. Can you believe that? Folding mechanism, very easy to use. Just fold it down, drops right into the fender. It's that simple style. The scooter weighs about 35 pounds, so pretty easy to lift and walk around with. This thing back up is really easy. Just pull up on that, and basically once you have that, it just snaps into place. So, super easy. Okay, so it's like a small style, then pops back in here, it looks like. Retracts. Yeah, that's pretty slick. I like it. I changed it to be in live from a stop in the app. Front drum brake with a cutoff and a bell up there. So this scooter has last. You can tell it's a little different color. It actually almost looks like it's plastic, but it's not. It's like a aluminum. It's pretty dang solid. I'll put on the weight on the screen. I think it's in the mid 30-pound range. This thing is just really nice and quiet and smooth here. We're getting up to 19 on the display. Handles nicely. That rear elastomer gives you enough cushion, especially on, more or less smooth paths like this, and pretty much bumpier stuff with the air tires. It does quite a good job. It's a little hard to reach the button here. You get a little bit of wobble of death if you take your hands off the handlebars. Go through the different speed modes really quickly for you. One press turns on the lights, and it has a nice stim light setup as well with some different colors you can configure in the app. But eco mode, or whatever you want to call it, is very slow. The display is showing 6. Not a whole lot going on there. 2 presses gives you to the next one. We're somewhere in the 12-13 mile per hour range. And then if I can turn on cruise control there by 3 presses of the button and get it to hold here. And so we're cruise locked in there at 12. Go again to the full speed mode. All right, see how we do on this little hill here. So as a 600 watt motor, I'm not really noticing that I feel like it's actually that powerful. It's got a bit of struggle. It does fine without much load on it, but when you start going up a hill, or if you're probably a heavier rider, I think you would start to really notice a little lack of power, is my opinion. All right, hill climb Bannister Hill. I'm gonna turn off cruise control. I don't want that kicking in on the way up. Gonna turn the light and reserve all the power we can. 3, 2, 1. The way the power is delivered on this scooter, I'm not convinced it's gonna make it, but well, that part it did okay. Let's see what it does under load. I think it's going to make it as long as it doesn't somehow like error itself off. But it's not doing it with a whole lot of aplomb. But let's see how it stacks up against other scooters. All right, this is a Atomi Alpha. Real quiet. Let's see if it's very fast. Pretty ginger acceleration. Oh, definitely quicker downhill. So, kind of just so-so on the acceleration. I feel like I'd like a little more pop in there in the sport mode especially. See what the graph looks like. You can really feel the electronic brake. This brakes it in. I couldn't skid, so that was as full as I could do, but it stopped pretty good. Even though the acceleration wise it didn't feel very zippy, it gets right up to the 15-mile-an-hour mark. So braking numbers wise, not bad at all, especially considering we only have a brake in the rear and it's a drum brake. The electronic brake, you can really feel it, and because you can't skid, and the combination electronic brake, the braking is very consistent. So I like that. And the elastomer in the rear, I was able to actually feel that as I'm pushing down to kind of increase the stopping power. So I was not disappointed at all with the braking. So the Atomi Alpha, kind of a interestingly styled scooter. My son like immediately took to it, kind of thought it, you know, my son sees a lot of scooters and he was like drawn to this one actually. He thought it looked cool. A little differently that shaped deck, kind of narrow and long. All those dimensions will be down in the description that I measure. It's a little hard to do seat. You can't really do your feet side by side, and you can adjust your feet if you're really careful, but it's a little bit narrow foot platform. So for a budget price, you get a lot of stuff you wouldn't expect on a budget scooter. You got actual turn signals, even with the display on the screen, even though it kicks you out of cruise control. But it's still nice to have. I mean, it's great to have. It should really be a must-have. You have programmable lights. You have a built-in cable lock. I mean, it's just like loaded with stuff that you wouldn't expect for this price point at all. You got that elastomer suspension in the rear that really does help a lot with the air tires. You got reasonable range. You're not quite what's advertised. I was getting more, 12 to 15 miles, closer to the 12 side. And acceleration isn't anything to write home about, but the braking is really nice and consistent. Acceleration is fine. It's just, if it holds up, it's a really good last mile kind of commuter solution. You wouldn't probably want to go like 10 miles on it, but 5 miles at a time is no problem at all.